The digital clock over the stove clicked from 11:59 to 12 o'clock like it was announcing something. The house was dark except for the over-the-sink light, yellow and tired. My duffel bag sat by the back door, rod case leaning against it, cooler empty. I should have been asleep before the fishing trip. Instead, I was sitting at the kitchen table with that stupid white mug between my hands. World's best wife. I'd bought it as a joke on our 5th anniversary. Funny how jokes age. The deadbolt turned. Heels clacked down the hallway. Ashley's perfume hit first. Expensive, floral, the kind that didn't smell like any aisle in this town. She stepped into the kitchen, still laughing at something she'd just left, then froze when she saw me. Mark! Her voice jumped half an octave. What are you doing here? I thought you'd already left for your trip. I took a slow sip of coffee that had gone bitter an hour ago. Yeah, I was supposed to. But then I remembered something you posted last month. Her hand clenched on the strap of her overnight bag. It was one of the new ones. Designer, paid for with my name. What are you talking about? I set the mug down, turned it so she could see the words. That quote you shared. I said. Men don't own women. Women owe nothing to a man who can't match her growth. Ring a bell. A little color drained from her cheeks. It was just a post, Mark. Sure, I said. Just like this was just a business trip with your life coach. She flinched at his title. Tyler is helping me work through some things. You know that. I nodded. Yeah, I saw how hard he's working. Real transformative stuff at the Lakeside Inn. Sunset shots, wine glasses, your reflection in the window. He's not very careful with reflections. Her eyes went wide. That told me more than any denial would have. You've been stalking my social media? She snapped, anger lighting up to cover the panic. That's controlling, Mark. This is exactly what Tyler. Funny you bring him up. I cut in, still calm. Because according to your calendar, he's your professional mentor. According to his Instagram, he's your cabin mate. She set the bag down a little too hard. You're twisting things. You always do this. You read into everything. I needed space, I needed support, and instead of listening, you snoop. This is why I didn't tell you. You overreacted. I looked at her for a long second. Tight dress, smudged lipstick, hair a little too wild for strategy sessions. I'm not overreacting, I said quietly. I'm observing. She exhaled sharply, grabbed the bag again. You know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not standing here and being interrogated in my own home like a criminal. I'm going to Kelly's tonight. We can talk when you calm down. Sure, I said. Go work on your growth. She rolled her eyes, spun on her heel, and stormed back toward the front door, muttering about toxic patterns and emotional immaturity. I let her go. The door slammed, rattling the kitchen window. The house went quiet again. I counted to 60 in my head, listening to the echo of her heels fade down the walk. Then I stood up. The overnight bag wasn't the only thing she'd brought in with her. On the counter by the fridge, right where she always dropped it when she was distracted, sat a slim black phone with no case. Her backup. The one she used when her main battery was dying. Screen still lit. No lock. I picked it up. Notifications stacked over a thread labeled simply, Tyler. I scrolled. Hotel beds I'd never seen. Plates of food I'd never paid for but somehow always did. Her feet in his lap at a bar I'd never heard of. Selfies of them together. Her face soft in a way it hadn't been around me in years. And the texts. He has no idea. He's easy to manage if I act helpless. Once I'm fully on my feet, I'm done letting him hold me back. It wasn't the sex implied between the lines that bothered me. It was the tone. Like I was a mark, a job, a stepping stone she'd already stepped off months ago. My heart didn't start pounding. My hands didn't shake. That kind of anger burns hot and stupid. What I felt was cold and clean, like stepping into a garage at dawn in winter. This wasn't just cheating. It was contempt. I set the phone back exactly where I'd found it, screen down. Took my mug to the sink, rinsed it out, set it upside down in the rack. The fishing trip was dead. The marriage had died long before it. And standing there in my own kitchen, With her lies humming quietly on that countertop, I decided one thing with absolute clarity. I was done being the easy one in this story. Lawson Classic Restorations always smells the same at 6 in the morning. Old oil, cold metal, and the faint sweetness of carb cleaner. It's honest. Engines don't lie. They either run or they don't. I rolled the bay doors up, hit the lights, and let the fluorescence buzz to life. The 72 Chevelle on lift 3 waited where I'd left it yesterday. Front end gutted. Parts laid out on the cart like instruments on a tray. I liked it that way, everything visible, labeled, predictable. Unlike my marriage. I was halfway through my first real coffee when Danny's beat-up Civic wheezed into the lot. Kid was 24, wiry, sharp, always 5 minutes early. He came in carrying 2 coffees and a bag of breakfast sandwiches. "Morning, boss," he said, then paused. "You look like hell. Didn't sleep much." I had coffee. "Thanks." He studied me for a second, grease already on his hands from wiping the door rail. "Everything okay with Ashley? Thought you were supposed to be fishing right now." I didn't dance around it. "Ashley's screwing Tyler Grant." He blinked. "The life coach guy? The one with the bracelets and the stupid man bun thing?" "That's the one." For a second, he just stared. Then his face twisted. "You're joking." I held his gaze. "Do I look like I'm joking?" Silence settled heavy between us, broken only by the compressor kicking in the back. Danny shook his head slowly. "What the hell? Mark, I'm sorry. That guy's been hitting on married women at Miller's for months. I thought it was just talk." "Yeah, well, he graduated," I said. "Took on a full-time student." His jaw clenched. "What are you gonna do?" "Because if you want me to, I'm not going to jail over Ashley's bad decisions." I cut in. "No violence. No stupid stunts I can't defend in court." He nodded, but his shoulders stayed tight. "So what then?" I pulled my phone from my pocket and opened an app I downloaded an hour earlier. "I'm going to know where she is. All the time. And I'm going to start taking back what's mine." His eyes dropped to the screen. "GPS. High-end one. You're gonna install it on the BMW." He hesitated. "Is that legal?" "Title's in my name," I said calmly. "Insurance is in my name. Registration, too. Remember that security system she wanted after her car got broken into at the gym? That's what we're upgrading. Paperwork backs it." He let out a low whistle. "Damn, you already checked." 3 times. I said. "This isn't a tantrum. This is maintenance." That seemed to settle him. He nodded once, the way he did before taking on a tough job. "All right, bring it in. I'll tuck it where nobody's finding it." "You want live tracking or periodic pings?" "Live," I said. "Discreet. No alerts. If she takes that car to Tyler, I want to know exactly when and where." We were going over placement options, behind the bumper, underbody, wiring into the power, when the side door opened and Mike Harris filled the frame. Broad-shouldered, scar over his left eyebrow, hands like cinder blocks. He'd been an amateur boxer before construction. Now he swung hammers for a living and drank beer in my shop on Fridays. Danny must have texted him. "You look like somebody keyed your soul, man," Mike said, stepping in. "What happened?" I wiped my hands on a rag. "No ceremony. Ashley's been having an affair with Tyler. Life coach boy." Mike's face went flat. No surprise, just a low, angry understanding. "You sure? Seen the texts. Seen the photos. See the hotel." He breathed out hard through his nose. "All right. Do you want him broken or gone?" "Neither," I said. "I want him exposed. I want her comfortable life disconnected, piece by piece. And I want to stay on the right side of the law while I do it." They both looked at me then, not like I was a victim, but like I was running point on a job. I leaned back against the workbench. "Here's the plan. We track the car. We document everything. No trespassing, no threats, no laying hands on anybody. I cut off what I pay for car, card, extras. She wants independence. She can have it. Minus the parts with my name on them." Danny nodded slowly. "Methodical. Like an engine rebuild," I said. "You don't just rip everything out and hope. You pull one system at a time. Inspect, Replace. Reassemble. Mike crossed his arms. You sure you're good, man? Most guys would be throwing wrenches right now. I did that in my head last night, I said. Didn't fix anything. The three of us stood there surrounded by tools and shells of cars. The air humming with fluorescent light and quiet anger. This was my war room. Not shouting, not chaos. Just steel, planning, and two men who understood that I wasn't broken. I was just getting organized. The tracker dot sat still on my phone, right over the Lakeside Inn, roomside lot. Tyler's latest transformational weekend post had gone up an hour earlier. Sunset over the water, 2 wine glasses. Some captions about aligned souls. Perfect. Aligned on my dime. I sat in the passenger seat of Mike's pickup, boots on the floor mat, Danny curled low in the back seat under an old tarp, scrolling his own phone. She's been parked there all night, I said. Checkouts at 11. They'll do the staggered exit thing. Sure enough, at 10:42, the side door opened. Tyler came out first, alone, gym bag over his shoulder, eyes sweeping the lot like he was in a movie. He got in his beat-up Jeep and rolled out. 10 minutes later, Ashley came out with a tote bag and sunglasses, head down, pretending she didn't know which car he drove. They think they're slick, Danny muttered. Let 'em, I said. Once the BMW was alone, we went to work. Stop 1. Rental place off the highway where Mike signed for a car dolly like he'd done it 100 times. Stop 2. Locksmith. VIN on a slip, title and registration in my name on the counter. Spare key for my car, I said. Lost the original backup. Paper doesn't care about feelings. He cut it, logged it, handed it over. By the time Ashley swung by Miller's Diner to build her alibi with a to-go cup and a fake, heading out of town on business story, we were already backing the dolly up to the BMW in the far corner of the lakeside lot. Quick and quiet, I said. Danny hopped out, guided the ramps, winched the Beamer up smoothly. No broken glass, no alarms, just a polite little click as my new key turned in the lock and the wheel straightened. An hour later, the car sat in a storage unit rented under Lawson Classic Restorations. Metal door rolled down, lock snapped shut. We emptied every bit of her from it. Designer purse, gym bag, sunglasses, that emergency credit card she needed for safety. All of it went into a plastic bin with her name on a piece of tape. Not thrown away, just paused. That night, she burst into the house like a siren. Mark, my car was stolen. Someone took my car from Miller's. I looked up from the kitchen table, calm. No, I did. She blinked. What? I repossessed my vehicle, I said. Titles in my name. Insurance in my name. You've been generous enough to drive it, but the arrangement's over. You can't do that. I need that car for work. You need independence, I corrected. You've been talking about it for months. Freedom, growth, all that. So now you get to figure out your own transportation, your own bills, your own living situation. Her eyes darted toward the hallway, toward the laptop where she did all her planning. What did you do, Mark? I took a slow breath. Let's just say I've done some figuring on my own. For the first time in a long time, she looked genuinely unsure. I liked that feeling just fine. The Lakeside Summer Festival always hits the same. Country songs bleeding from bad speakers, kids sprinting between rides, the air thick with barbecue smoke and funnel cake sugar. I'd volunteered to help set up like I did every year. Habit, routine, something normal in the middle of all the noise. Gus Miller waved from his smoker. Heard about the car, Mark. Are you good? I'm fine, I said. Just lighter. Mrs. Green was parked in her usual folding chair by the information tent, notebook on her lap, pen ready like the town's unofficial court reporter. She gave me a small nod. She'd heard things. She always did. The dunk tank sat near the fire department booth, sloshing and loud, kids heckling some high school volunteer on the seat. I helped run the power cords and checked mics for the PA system. The city let me handle it because I was the only one who didn't mess it up. By 6, the crowd thickened. And right on cue, there they were. Ashley on Tyler's arm, dressed festival casual like nothing in her life was burning. Tyler in designer workout gear, fake relaxed smile, scanning the crowd to see who was watching. Answer, everyone. I picked up the wireless mic. Evening, folks, I said, voice steady, carrying over the cheap speakers. Just wanted to give a special thank you to my wife, Ashley Lawson, and her life coach, Tyler Grant, for all their intensive work at the lakeside in this month. Heads turned. Conversations dipped. They've really been focused on her personal development, I went on. Lots of late-night sessions. Very hands-on. I hear the view from his hotel room is life-changing. Laughter rippled through the crowd, ugly and honest. Phones came out. Tyler's face flushed red. He pushed through people toward the platform where I stood, Ashley hissing his name under her breath. You think this is funny? He snapped, jabbing a finger at me. You're unstable, man. This is harassment. I kept the mic lowered, my voice calm. You coached her right into your bed, Tyler. Don't be shy about your results now. He lunged, fist coming wild and high. Amateur. I stepped aside, barely moving. His momentum carried him past me, right toward the dunk tank setup. I didn't hit him. I just gave his shoulder a light shove to help gravity do what it does best. The crowd sucked in a breath as he flailed, misstepped on the edge platform, and dropped straight into the water with a splash big enough to soak the front row. Silence held for half a second. Then the place exploded. Laughter, whistles, camera shutters firing like popcorn. Tyler came up sputtering, hair plastered, designer shirt clinging like a second skin, trying to yell something that just sounded like choking. I handed the mic back to the fire chief. As I walked off, Mrs. Green caught my eye. She didn't smile big, just gave me that same small, approving nod. Message delivered. No punches thrown. The video hit Facebook before I even got home from the festival. Tyler flailing into the dunk tank, my one-line setup over the PA, the crowd losing it. People tagged me, tagged him, tagged Ashley. It bounced from one local group to another until every bored ant and night shift worker in town had seen it twice. By morning, Tyler had his response up. Long posts, black and white selfies, paragraphs about public humiliation, toxic masculinity, and unprocessed trauma. He called me unstable, dangerous, hinted he'd feared for his safety before I assaulted him. Assault, apparently, now included letting a grown man trip into a tank while trying to swing on you. Ashley played it smarter. She didn't rant. She went quiet. Then the quotes started, little pastel graphics about escaping control, finding your truth, surviving emotional abuse. I didn't respond. Not online. I watched them talk themselves into deeper corners. Every post a little more dramatic than the last. Then her essay dropped. My journey from abuse to freedom. 1,400 words of carefully crafted fiction. According to Ashley, I was a financially controlling husband who monitored her spending, restricted her movement, and sabotaged her career opportunities out of insecurity. The BMW became her car that he ripped away to punish her growth. Tyler became a professional support person who gave her the courage to leave a dangerous situation. Local news picked it up. Police looking into allegations. Some blog in the next county reposted it with a stock photo of a woman crying in a kitchen. When I pulled into the shop the next morning and saw wife beater sprayed across the side of my building in red paint, something in my chest went very still. I didn't scream. I didn't start firing back online. I got a bucket, soap, and a scrub brush. Customers pulled in and out while I worked. Some pretended not to see. Others rolled their windows down. Don't believe a word of it, Mark. We know you. She's full of it. That coach always gave me the creeps. The words helped, but they didn't fix anything. I kept scrubbing. That afternoon, I sat in a small office across from Patricia Collins, a lawyer with gray at her temples and eyes that missed nothing. She flipped through the printouts I'd brought, Tyler's posts, Ashley's essay, screenshots from the backup phone, GPS logs, timestamps. Okay, she said finally. Here's the deal. They're throwing around abuse and danger because that language plays well online. Some of it's opinion, which is protected. Some of it edges into defamation, but that's a long, expensive road. I don't care about winning the internet, I said. I care about not getting arrested for something I didn't do. Then you need to stop giving them footage, she said. No more stunts, no more public call-outs. You were lucky at the festival, videos show him coming at you first. That helps. But they're clearly building a narrative. Don't hand them anything that looks like harassment. I nodded. What about the car? The tracker? She glanced at the folder again. Title's yours. Insurance is yours. Tracker was installed for security reasons on your vehicle. You haven't trespassed, you haven't threatened, you haven't laid a hand on either of them. So far, you're clean. Keep it that way. Later, Detective Carl Morrison came by the shop. We played ball in high school. Now he wore a badge and a face that tried to be neutral. Ashley filed a complaint, he said in my office. Claims you're escalating. Financial control, emotional intimidation, public humiliation. Says she's afraid of what you might do next. I slid the same folder across my desk. Here's what I've done, I said. Tracker logs, car title, screenshots of her messages with Tyler, including the part where she jokes about me being too clueless to ever catch on. Video from the festival showing him taking the first swing. Posts where they've been baiting me for days. He went through it slowly. When he finished, he blew out a breath. As far as I can see, you're guilty of being humiliated and not liking it, he said. But I'm telling you straight. Stay bored. They're trying to get under your skin until you give them something real to work with. Noted, I said. When he left, I sat alone in the quiet office, the noise of impact wrenches humming through the wall. This stopped being about a bruised ego the second my name hit that wall in red paint. This was a chess game now, and I was done playing checkers. The first photos came from Danny at 7 a.m. for flat tires on Tyler's red Corvette. Door handles shimmering with petroleum jelly. Homewrecker written in big, loopy letters across his rear windshield in washable marker. Location tag. The parking lot outside Kelly Brooks's condo. I stared at the pictures for a good 30 seconds. Then I typed back. Did you do this? Nope, he replied. It was like this when I drove by. Half the building's filming. I believed him. This town didn't need my direction to have an opinion. Within an hour, the photos hit the same groups that had loved the dunk tank video. Memes started. Coach Tyler's sticky situation. Inspirational quotes slapped over his pissed-off, jelly-smeared reflection as he tried to open the door without getting his hands dirty. Tyler responded the only way he knew how, badly. Long, emotional posts about harassment, unsafe environments, toxic small-town mindsets. For a guy who sold calm, he came off like a teenager with Wi-Fi. Ashley's campaign worked better at first. She posted less, chose her quotes carefully, stayed on the hurt but brave angle. Some people bought it. A few unfollowed me. I let them. Then the other shoes started dropping. Ashley got laid off from her marketing job. Department restructuring. Officially. Off the record. Someone forwarded me an email from her boss with screenshots of her essay, her public mess, her business trip photos. 2 days later, Tyler's wellness center scrubbed him from their website. His coaching packages vanished. Word was, a client sent the dunk tank and Corvette photos to the owner with a note. This your brand? I hadn't made a single call. That afternoon, my phone rang. Kelly, you need to tell whoever's messing with Tyler to stop, she snapped. You've made your point. You're ruining their lives. They're doing a good job of that themselves, I said. And for the record, I haven't touched his car, his building, or his social media. I've been busy running a legal business and not abusing my wife. She went quiet for a second. Ashley was scared to even come home. Spare me, I said, voice low. I know about the apartment she toured 3 months ago. The secret account you helped her set up. They consult with a divorce lawyer in the city. This wasn't escape from abuse. It was an exit strategy that backfired. Silence. I could almost hear her swallow. Kelly, I added. If you called to guilt me, you picked the wrong day. The line clicked dead. 3 hours later, she stood in my office, hands twisting the strap of her purse. They're planning something, she said. At Miller's. Saturday. They want to confront you, get you worked up on camera, make you look violent. Tyler's friend is ready to film. I studied her. She wasn't doing this for me. She was doing it because she'd seen which way the wind was blowing. Thanks for the heads up, I said. You can tell them whatever you want about this conversation. Fear flickered behind her eyes. For the first time, I wasn't the clueless mechanic in her story. I was the one holding the file drawer. Saturday night, Miller's diner buzzed with the usual noise. Silverware on plates, the hiss of the grill, muted country songs leaking from the jukebox. Humid, crowded, everybody pretending they weren't there to see a show. I took the corner booth where the overhead light was brightest. Danny slid in on my left, Mike on my right. 3 plates, 3 waters. No alcohol, no excuses. Are you sure about this? Danny asked. Completely, I said. I set my phone on the table, camera already open, recording. Mrs. Green sat 2 booths over, phone in hand, knitting untouched. At the counter, Tyler's buddy hovered, pretending to scroll but keeping his lens aimed our way. Ashley and Tyler came in 10 minutes later. They took a booth across the room, positioned just right for a spontaneous confrontation. I didn't wait for the cue. I stood, walked over and set my phone on their table, camera facing them. Evening, I said. Just so you know, I'm recording this. I also see your cameraman at the counter. So let's all be honest for once. Ashley's eyes flicked to Tyler's friend, then back to me. You're harassing us, Mark. No, I said evenly. I'm documenting. I kept my voice low but clear enough to carry. You were planning to provoke me tonight, I continued. Raise your voice, accuse me of abuse, get me to snap on camera. Same pattern you've been building online. Dangerous husband, brave wife, supportive coach. That's not, she started. Graffiti on my shop, I said. Teenager Tyler paid $100 to do it. Security footage, plate number, Venmo screenshot. Want to keep denying? Or do you want to jump ahead to the part where I talk about fraud? Tyler shifted in his seat. You don't know what you're talking about. Sure I do, I said. I pulled a manila folder from under my arm and set it between us. You've been charging people for coaching without proper certification or business registration. That's one issue. Ashley's been using her company card for personal expenses. Lakeside Inn, dinners, shopping with you, and then quietly reimbursing herself from our joint account. That's another. Ashley's face went pale. I tapped the folder. Copies of statements, screenshots, dates, amounts. You keep pushing this abuse narrative, we take all of this to court and to your former employers. They already don't like you. The diner was dead quiet now. Forks frozen halfway up. Gus stood in the pass-through window watching. So here's your choice, I said. You can keep trying to ruin my name and we see who the law likes more. Or you can sign uncontested divorce papers, take a fair split, shut up about abuse and walk away. Tyler swallowed. You're blackmailing us. No, I said. I'm offering you a discount on reality. Ashley's hand shook as she grabbed the folder. We're talking to our lawyer, she said, but it came out thin. Do that, I replied. Just know this conversation. I pointed to my phone, then to the one at the counter. Is now on record from 2 angles. You came here to trap me. All you got was terms. As they stood up to leave, Tyler bumped the edge of the table, stumbled, and half-tripped over a chair. A few people snorted. I went back to my booth. Gus set a cold beer down in front of me. On the house, he said quietly. Better than cable tonight. Word got around faster than I expected. Mrs. Green didn't gossip. She curated information. By Sunday morning, enough accidental texts and quiet retellings had reached the right ears that Ashley's abuse posts vanished without explanation, and Tyler's coaching pages went dark. No declarations, no new quotes, just silence from 2 people who'd run out of angles. Monday, Patricia called. Their lawyer wants a fast, quiet settlement, she said. No alimony, equal split of assets. NDA both ways. Translation. They'd seen the folder, seen the recordings, and realized the court would carve them open. I went through the numbers. Buying out Ashley's half of the house meant a new mortgage, but it was worth it. Savings got split, though there wasn't much left after her pre-planned exit expenses. Lawson Classic Restoration stayed untouched. My shop, my name, my work. The BMW? Legally mine, no dispute. When the day came, we signed the divorce papers in a quiet conference room that smelled like carpet glue. No speeches, no accusations, no last-minute dramatics. Ashley didn't look at me, and I didn't need her to. I walked out of the courthouse into a plain, open morning. No applause, no weight on my chest. Just clean air and a life that finally felt like mine again. 6 months later, the garage felt the same as it always had. Warm metal, old engines, country radio humming low. I was finishing a '67 Mustang, hands steady, mind clear in a way it hadn't been for years. Danny showed up after closing with a six-pack, dropped onto the shop's front step beside me. "Do you ever regret how any of it went down?" he asked. "The festival, the car, the diner?" I thought about it. Not with heat, just with clarity. "I regret wasting 7 years on someone who saw me as a wallet with a pulse," I said. "I regret not paying attention sooner. But standing up for myself? No, not once." He nodded like he already knew the answer. Business was busier than ever. People respected the way I handled it. Controlled, honest, no backroom threats. Even Mrs. Green stopped by sometimes with updates. According to her, Ashley and Tyler had moved to Portland. Didn't even last as a couple. Panic burns bright, then it dies. Danny passed me a beer. We sat on the step, watching the town wind down. Cars fading, streetlights flickering on. "The revenge wasn't the victory," I said. "Reclaiming my life was."
Subscribe and stay one step ahead of cheaters. And trust me, the next story makes this one look like a fairy tale.